Ndị be anyị ekene m unu ọzọ na n'ụbọchị uhuruchi tata. Daalụ niile unu si na-esoro anyị ya emenụrụ akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nketa bụ 13th of December 2023. Anyị si na Chukwu oke abịa pụrụ m ihe ya gozi niile n'ofu n'ofu. Anyị siri unu ga-adịbọ ka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ, otu anyị kwuru otu akwa ya dịrịrị. ise dịka o si dị, ewetakwala unu ya anyị na-akpọ morning tea, dịka esi kwuo na nkwa na gị na-ewetere na update ọbụla bụ gbasata maka ife na-eme na n'Igbo, gbasata maka ife na-eme na ntụtụ ọdịda anyanwụ ka na-akpọ Eastern Region, na gị na-ewetere ya n'iru akwụkwọ dịka ihe eji enu ihe Biafran Prime Minister were ikwu n'iru akwụkwọ akabarụ ka edropụrụ anyị kọmentị gị, ọ dị mkpa on Eastern News 24, biko ọ dị ezigbo mkpa ife ichenụ gbasata maka ife ndị a niile ị na-eji enu ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ, maka anyị achọbeghị ka mmọnwụ. Anyị chọrọ ka unu ya na ntị unu, then unu nụchazie unu drop a comment and the comment section below. All right, about you, sir.
He is one of them, a very prominent one. His people was being killed in southern Kaduna. He went on to investigate, find something and say something, and he was killed. Now, most of the people that knows what he knows, all of them are now scared. They can't talk again. Do you understand it now? That is why you can write everything in this world. Nobody is going to listen to you. If you like, write to America now. Write to Joe Biden now. Tell Joe Biden that Simon Ekpa is inciting violence in Nigeria. It is not inciting violence. I am defending my people at the same time fighting for my freedom. Joe Biden will not respond to you. I know my right. It is not me that say you should not know your right. If you cannot talk the way I'm talking, it's your business. I'm going to talk even what I'm saying, because the time has come. So if you tell me to come to Nigeria, this is what you are inviting me to Nigeria to do. And that's why some of them are crying. Call Finland. Finland, oh, deport him, repatriate him, oh, this, that. And then you see where they are twisting something that faceless people wrote. People that are not even, that cannot even represent their family in any way. They will come and say, oh, Finland, Igbo community wrote. Igbo community wrote. Wrote what? You know, if somebody is distancing himself from Simon Ekpa, am I part of you before? I do not know why somebody would distance himself from Simon Ekpa. They say Igbo Union, distance, Igbo community. Distance, I have said there is nothing like Igbo community. How can something that doesn't exist distance itself from me? It doesn't exist. I would have no, you know, apart from the fact that I am going to play over 2 hours of the conversation we had in the meeting. Because we have the 2 hours, over 2 hours of the conversation, where the shouting and the questions are responded to the questions and all that. I'm going to bring it to the media and I'm going to release the audio. People will enjoy themselves as they listen to how the so-called Igbo community had their meeting. And you know, you can now listen to where did they arrive at distancing themselves from Simon Ekpa. They can't do the half of things I have done in the past. When I was the chairman of Igbo Union Finland, I banned Biafra flag in Igbo where we are doing Yam Festival. Can they do it? That was when Nigeria can happen more kunisi. I banned Biafra flag from, you know, all these people you see today that are, you know, all these criminals. I said, you don't dare bring Biafra flag to where Igbo people are doing Yam Festival. And nobody dared do that. Some of them that are writing this thing today were part of those who decided not to come to Igbo Union New Year Festival because of, I said, Biafra flag must not be brought to the hall. Some of them that are shouting, oh, Peter Obi, they were the one who were fighting me. That I said, why should I say they should not bring Biafra flag? They were doing Biafra then. I was one Nigerian. So, you know, when I look at all these things, I have been there. If I am Biafra today, fighting for Biafra, which is the right thing to do, who are those people? Have they served Nigeria like me? Who knows them in Nigeria? What have they done for Nigeria? They have done nothing. I have served Nigeria. I have served immigration, Nigeria immigration. I have served Nigeria immigration. How many of you know that? You don't know now. It's only the one I tell you, you will know. As you see me, I have served Nigeria immigration in sport. So what have they done for Nigeria? These people have done nothing. They have suffered. They have absolutely contributed absolutely nothing to Nigeria. So what do they know about Nigeria? They have, so when I look at these people, you want to say, you distance yourself from someone. I have done worse than you. I have done worse. Because I was the only person that banned Biafra flag from entering Igbo Union New Year Festival in Finland. So if you come and say you distance yourself, it is not up to what I have done. But what is Samanakpa today? I am here fighting for Biafra because that is the right thing to do. So when you hear them say, oh, when the report came, we look at his report from Finland. If you know what this like, this criminal in Kuwait, they call Mohammed Abbas. Oh, if you look at the report we get from Finland, it is bad. It is this, it is that. And then they don't know. Some people knows that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was protesting in the street of London for Nigeria. So somebody will come today and tell me, tell them, when you hear them say some Igbo community, that is nothing like Igbo community, tell them, I was the only history of Igbo Union. I don't think it has happened anywhere in the world. I was the only person in the history of Igbo Union that banned Biafra flag from entering where Igbo people are celebrating something. I want you to show me any person that have done it anywhere in the world. I did it. It is not like bragging, but it is what has happened for history to happen. If there is no event, there will be no history. All these things will go down in the history of Biafra. So what can they do? What is it that somebody is going to do today that I have not done even worse than that? But that is not even the problem. The problem is that when you have a meeting with somebody and the meeting is supposed to be a secret, it's supposed to remain secret. But because they have released a statement that is not the agreement of the people that were part of the meeting, we are going to release the pictures of everybody that we can lay our hand on. Those who were part of the meeting, all your pictures will be on social media. I am going to make sure that in these 2 hours of voice, I will put all your pictures there so that Biafra can know who you are. Because all of you are faceless. Nobody knows who is Kisiloji. Nobody knows who is Obi West. Nobody knows all the people that were part of that meeting. Your faces, except I don't have access to your picture, that your picture will not be there. I will put your picture for Biafra people on ground to know you. That is what I'm going to do. So you think you are fighting Samanekpa? You are not fighting Samanekpa. You are fighting against Biafra people. And many of them are back home. So your pictures will be there. So that Nigeria will praise you. And give you an award. For releasing a stupid statement. Without logo, without address. Ordinary paper. And then they have only this Finland. You can imagine a whole Finland.
State, and we are and saddles between Nasarawa and Plateau State. We are very right at the border. But actually, I didn't grow up there. I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Nasarawa State because my father was a missionary, a pastor, an evangelist.
Right.
He traveled quite a lot and ended up settling there. So I didn't really grow up at home, I put it that way. That's number one. So that gives me some kind of emotional detachment. To be able to see things clearly and objectively. There, by all really grow up there. Number two, part of my family are Muslims.
Okay.
Uncles, aunties. In fact, the king of our area, in a predominantly 99% Christian area, is a Muslim. And he's my auntie, the first cousin of my mother. And I regard them as family. So I can't afford to play the Islamophobia card.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really good for me. So having clear that, it gives me a objective perspective from which to analyze what is happening. Immediate crisis has been going on for the last 2 years. The opening salvo was the killing of the Adara king in 2018. There had been some killings in his kingdom and Kachia area, and tensions had been rising. So the governor, he sought audience with the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai.
Right.
He went there to see him. They had a good meeting, presumably. And on his way back, together with his wife and driver, they were waylaid on the highway where they were all abducted. The driver was allowed to go. The bandits raped his wife.
Oh my.
The wife's Majesty the King, they raped her in front of him before setting her off. And after collecting a ransom of about 10 million on the promise that they were going to release him,
right,
he was brutally assassinated. It did not stop.
The same thing they brought to Biafra land, thing they are doing, the Fulanis are doing in Biafra land today, was happening in Kaduna. This is what this is explaining here.
When the elders of Adara land straightened, the police came, rounded them up, and put them in prison for about a year with no real charges or trials. They were eventually released. Meanwhile, attacks were incessant. They were continuous. It was a case of continuous pounding of an unarmed and defenseless people. And it has continued. It has spread from Adara land to other villages, and Manchok, Kapgoro very recently, Kurmin Masara, Takwai Isa, Ataka Mawe, Fadang Atakar, Duga, Zangon Katav, Magama, Zamando, the list goes on and on. The figures are not reliable, but it is clear that we are talking of a very serious and well calculated and well strategized, killings.
What caused these killings, Dr. Obadiah?
That amount to genocide.
What could have caused this? What could have caused this particular killings that you've enumerated? What is the cause? Do you have an idea?
Well, again, let me just also clear one fact that in the 80s and 90s, you asked me for the immediate causes, which the immediate, process of killings, which I explained, but it goes as far back as the 80s and 90s. You may have heard of the infamous Zangon Kataf killings.
That's right.
In which the settlers, Zango means a settlement. And in ancient times, the house of people who were itinerant traders used to pass through there. They would settle there and, water their camels and their donkeys, and then proceed on whatever journeys they were going to. And then eventually became a kind of more permanent settlement for the Hausa Fulani community. Hence it is called Zangon Kataf, in Kataf land. Then they began to demand control of the market and even demand to have their own chief. And of course, which was not acceptable to the people, and it eventually led to the infamous Kataf riots and killings, which were mutually violent, if I may put it that way.
Okay.
And I can tell you this because I heard directly from him himself. General Zamani Lekwot, very distinguished military officer, retired from the Nigerian Army, former governor of Rivers State, and ambassador to Senegal. He, together with another very patriotic colonel, Colonel Yohanna Madeki, they went to the police to report what was going on and to seek for help. And you will not believe it. The police detained both of them.
Why?
Yes.
Are you hearing that? The police detain both of them. The question you should be asking yourself is, police detain a colonel, police detain a military man who go to report what the Fulani terrorists are doing to their people. Police detain them. Do you think if that police is an Igbo man, the police will detain them? The answer is no. Do you think if the police is a Yoruba man, the police will detain them? The answer is no. The police would have respected the law and listened to them instead of detaining them. But because Fulani have taken over the police, so they gave order to detain them. Because the people they want to file report against is in charge of the police. They are also in charge of the military. The same Southern Kaduna you are seeing now, the GOC of Enugu 82 Division was in charge of this particular Southern Kaduna where this killing was going on. So who do you report to? Nobody. You have to report to yourself. Take charge of the security of your land, because Fulani terrorists have taken charge of the police, the army, the executive, the judiciary, the National Assembly, and everything has been taken over by the Fulani terrorists. You don't have any choice. Don't need to go to them. That is what the BIAFRA people have done. That is what gave birth to the Eastern Security Network. And we are going to fund them till the last day Nigeria, Biafra will stay in Nigeria. So, when you hear all this testimony, you ask yourself, why this thing was going on in Kaduna? All these Igbo who call themselves P2B people, they were all thinking that Southern Kaduna was not Nigeria. No, they thought it was not Nigeria. So it is not their business. Today, the same thing this man is saying now is happening in the southeast, where the same person who was the GOC of 82 Division was in charge of Southern Kaduna, and he has now brought the same people to southeast, and the killing is going on. They now begin to write against Simon Ekpa, because Simon Ekpa say Biafra must come this year. Do you understand it? Because they follow who is protecting them. First, when Buhari entered as a rock, he brought all of them from all other African countries. Now, when Buhari begin to appoint other leaders of the Fulani terrorists, any place they appoint them, this or that one will drag them there. So now they have dragged them into southeast because of the GOC of 82 Division Enugu, who came to give shield to the massacre in Ehamufu. He did not only give shield, he ordered the military to burn houses, and they burnt about 100. Over 100 houses were burned in Ehamufu by military, not the Fulani, by military. Ask yourself, who are these people protecting? Who are these military working for? Whose interest are the military protecting? Is it the interest of the people, or interest of the government, or interest of the Fulanis? Because the interest of the people is the government. So definitely, it cannot be the interest of the people. So whose interest? Interest of Islamic State. Because the people that came to Ehamufu to kill were actually, their main motive is to kill and evict the people from Ehamufu. So they couldn't do it. Military have to come and do it by themselves. Do you see it? Do you hear that people that came to report about the Fulani invasion was detained by police? Who is the Fulani? Oh my goodness. This is happening in Biafra land today. And they thought that, where is this coming from? This cannot happen in Nigeria. It happened in Southern Kaduna, but they didn't pay attention because it was not coming from them. When it was happening in Southern Kaduna, everybody was deaf. Nobody was hearing the only thing we see on social media is that the other day they have lied 100 bodies and they are giving the mass burial. And everybody is shouting, oh my God, Southern Kaduna, what did these people do? But the same thing is now happening, and they are now behaving as if they were not in Nigeria before when it was happening in Southern Kaduna. They now behave that, oh, such thing is abomination. It has never happened before. We were there when this particular thing happened in the Southeast, is happening in Southern Kaduna. And when they sent this particular GOC to some places, they rejected it. I was told that Oduduwa, Yoruba people rejected him, and they forwarded him to the Southeast. So I want everybody to watch.
Were mutually violent, if I may put it that way.
Okay.
And I can tell you this because I heard directly from him himself. General Zamani Lekwot, very distinguished military officer, retired from the Nigerian Army, former governor of Rivers State, and ambassador to Senegal. He, together with another very patriotic colonel, Colonel Yohanna Madeki, they went to the police to report what was going on and to seek for help. And you will not believe it. The police detained both of them.
Oh my.
Yes. Now, General Zamani Lekwot is a highly principled officer, very patriotic. As a young officer, he distinguished himself during the Nigeria-Biafra War. And somehow he was not in the good books of General Ibrahim Babangida, because he used to tell him to his face what he felt was wrong with his policies. So they were waiting for an alibi, and they got it.
And when he said he distinguished himself during Nigeria-Biafra War, I do not need to tell you what that means. He said that general distinguished himself during the Nigeria-Biafra War. So, as such, he should be respected. And you need to know what that distinguishing himself during Nigeria-Biafra War means, because he fought against Biafra. And today, Fulani killed them. Not only that Fulani killed them, they also humiliated him by locking him up, detaining him on top of the killing of his people. That is the price you pay for fighting against Biafra. Today, all of them are regretting why they fight. That is why this year, when we drag them into this war, everybody will fight against whatever they want to fight against.
I gotta check what I have.
You think they will come back and fight against Fulani or fight for Fulani? It's never going to happen. We will drag everybody into this war. We will drag into this war. We will drag
more popular and loved
other group that are not
in Igbo land today than
everybody will
Muslim
fight this war together.
And that envy
It is not going
is
to be
one of the things
time.
that pushed them
This time around
to
is different.
sabotage him and sold him to
Southern
the
Kaduna will
enemy, to
fight
the Fulani.
also.
Yes. So, what makes him popular? Because he's talking about Biafra.
Biafra War.
Because he wants Biafra.
And
That's
you will
why
not
he is
believe
popular.
it.
That's why
The
people
police
love him.
detained both
That's
of
why
them.
we cherish him. Because he's
Yes.
a Biafran. He doesn't believe in
Now,
this. And the general Igbo,
Zamani Lekwot,
the whole
is a
Igbo who
highly
love Mazin and
principled
Kano
officer.
love him because
Very
he is
patriotic.
talking about Biafra. The whole Igbos who
As a
are
young
following
officer,
Mazin
he
and Kano
distinguished
are following him
himself
because
during
he
the
is talking about
Nigeria-Biafra
Biafra.
War.
And when you are following
And
somebody because
somehow
of
he
what
was
he's
not in
doing,
the
that
good
means you
books
believe
of
in that person and you believe
General
in what that
Ibrahim
person is
Babangida,
doing.
because he used
That's
to
why
tell
you are
him
following
to his
him. That's
face
why you love
what he
and
felt
cherish
was
him.
wrong with his
So
policies.
if the
So they were waiting for an
99.99
alibi,
Igbos
and they got
are
it in the
following
Zango
Mazin and
Katabayo.
Kano,
So
the
they arrested him, detained
99.99%
him,
of Igbos,
created a
that
kangaroo
remaining
court,
0.1 there
kangaroo court,
is the politicians
and
and the
tried
likes of
him.
Igwanyanwu, Hanez and Dioshi.
In the end, even
So
the
if
judge said that his hands were tied,
99.99%
as
of
it were.
Igbos love Mazin Nnamdi Kanu,
Convicted
cherish
him
Mazin Nnamdi Kanu,
and sentenced
believe in
him to
Mazin Nnamdi
death.
Kanu, and
I
follow
will hear
Mazin
it.
Nnamdi
General
Kanu. That
Zamani
means
Lekwot has
Igbos
explained
want
to me
Biafra.
himself
We don't
what
want
they
the
did to
zoo.
him.
We don't want
For
the area.
reporting Fulani,
Let me make
for
it
reporting
categorically clear
Fulani,
today
they sentenced
that
him to death. For reporting Fulani
99.99%
killing
of
in his
the
community,
entire
they
Igbos
sentenced
believe
him
in
to death.
Biafra.
That is where some Obi supporters are telling some people to come to Nigeria now, come to Nigeria now. We will destroy Nigeria from afar, and we will restore the nation from different nations in Nigeria. Nigeria is gone, collapsed. Then you come to Nigeria. Look at the story of Nigeria. Look at it. Listen to it. If a man who had served as a former governor, a military officer who fought and distinguished himself during Biafra War, can be treated like this for reporting a terrorist in his community. Who are you? Who are you? Even that time, Fulani has not taken over everywhere. So who are you? That is why we are not bothered of what this nonsense you are writing. That's why we are not bothered of all this propaganda, all this news media. You are all inside the bottle, caged. So we are not moved by what you write.
Torture, the agony. That for 2 weeks, they took him to the section where people are condemned and ready to be killed.
Oh, wow.
They put him next to the execution chamber. Early in the morning, they wake him up and say, let him have his last breakfast. They will open the execution chamber as if they are taking him there, and then they will close it again. They kept doing that for 2 weeks. Most people would have run insane. But he is a strong man. He became toughened psychologically, endured it until the outcry of the public dissuaded the Babangida administration from committing murder. So, Zambon Katab, and in the 90s, they came to my local government, which is Sanga local government, during all this Sharia palaver.
Okay.
And they brought a huge amount of money to the local house chief and told him that his duty was to enforce Sharia in Sanga land.
Who are the they,
area that
Dr. Badaya?
the military administration of that time, together with some foreign jihadist interests, they get a huge amount of money in Gwentu. Please take this record it is extremely important.
Yeah.
So a young man.
That reminds me, he said they brought money, and that they should follow jihadist interest and all that. I want to show you people that it is also happening as I speak. We were told that in Enugu, they gathered some men and they promised them money. They asked them to leave and abandon Biafra struggle. They asked them to abandon Biafra struggle, and I'm going to put you here. They said they should abandon Biafra struggle, that they are going to be paying them salary. That is it. Now tell me, how can salary be the solution for your own freedom? I want you, look at these people you see on the screen. These are people that are fighting for Biafra. They went to Enugu. They said they want to go and they collect amnesty. Have you seen where a freedom fighter is collecting amnesty? I don't know whether they are fighting for freedom or they are fighting for resource control. I do not know the kind of resource they were fighting to control in Enugu. But look at them. They want to collect salary. They gathered them. They say, come. Lay down your weapon, stop Biafra, stop agitating, we'll be paying you salary every month. What these idiots that you see here now, of course, they are not many. What these idiots don't know is that when they are paying this salary, it will just last for a while. And then the person that will change the salary will come. And Nigeria have happened to them. They never receive that salary again. Now they gather them, tell them, come. We are going to repay you salary every month. So leave Biafra. And some of them will accept it. Some of them will not accept it. And that is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said they will pay you money. They will promise you even to buy your house in Dubai. They will promise you everything, but you can't stop this Biafra from coming. You can't stop this Biafra from coming. Tell the people in Enugu Ezike, the few of them, not all of them.
But there is one thing I want all of us to understand this very evening. We are facing a very formidable array of enemies, both external and within.
And by Darupan Linne no Darun Linne can see when they saw any name. Nero Apono Boston Ketabo 13th of December 2023. If you will keep Bostamaka Bifinogase, Nero Aqua. Whenever I brokers Maz Simon Eba before, oh yeah, BIAFRA. atinyelu unu ọ dị ife mere ji wee tie ya dịka unu ya bụ ife ka ife nwere ike ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife nọ n'iru akwụkwọ anụwa ka ife nwere ike ikwu dropụra ya on the comment section below. Alright, thank you and stay tuned at Eastern News 24 ka emesịa nụ ndị be anyị.